Go.
Hi, my name is Sushant Sipagoti, and this is a presentation on Australian meat industry for Economics for Business Decision HI5003. I'll be covering the introduction, background, and market structure. So, talking about the introduction, meat industry is the basic livestock industry where the meat is processed, packed, preserved, and marketed. The meat industry has major contribution in economy of Australia, the major part of which is covered by meat packing industry of cattle's livestock such as beef, pork, pigs, ducks, etc. Australia is the second largest beef exporter. The market for beef is Korea, Japan, America, and Middle East. Ridley Corporation Limited, which is dealing with the packaging and processing of meat, duck, turkey, etc., produced 2.05 million tons of the products in 2018, and the aggregate sales of which was 17.1 million. Now, talking about the background, the first fleet of original cattle was brought to Australia in 1788. The first butcher shop was originally opened by Sir Sidney Kidman and quickly became the world's largest landholder. Since after 50 years of that, Australia became the second largest exporter of meat in the world. Okay, talking about the market structure, there is high competition of meat and livestock in Australian market. The firms in the meat industry are oligopolistic, where the prices charged by the wholesalers, retailers, processors are based on the structures. At the data of 1996, there was an average of 7% beef production, but since the population and consumption has increased, the pattern has increased too. The Australian meat market is non-competitive since the licensing arrangement operated by Australian Meat and Livestock Corporation poses restriction on the access to meat's export market. In the retail market of meat in Australia, the short-run pricing is very persuasive, and this character is very much constant. The international meat market has relationship with pass-throughs, where they act as the rates at which the input prices and domestic inflation is fed based in the variation in exchange rate. Now, for the rest of the topic, my fellow friend Pratiksha Shrestha is going to come and cover. Thank you.
Thank you, Sushant. My name is Pratiksha Shrestha, and I'll be talking about factors influencing the demand and the supply of the meat. There are many factors. I'll be talking about the price of the product, the growing obesity problem, and the aging population, and the economy. First, talking about the price of the product. The price is the factor that will influence the demand of the meat. If the price of the product goes up, then the demand will go down, and vice versa. And the growing obesity problem and aging population, the medical community is identifying new diseases and viruses caused by the consumption of the meat every year. Health problem like cholesterol and heart disease is also increasing, due to which people are being more conscious and they are shifting towards becoming vegetarian and vegan, which is leading to a huge fall in the demand of the meat. And the next point is economy. Meat demand is highly dependent in the income and expenditure of the consumers. When the economy of the consumer is strong, they are more likely to buy more meat, even if the price of the meat is constant or increasing. However, if the economy is weak, then the people will reduce their spending on, and then the demand of the meat will decrease. Talking about the factors that influences the supply of the meat. The factors that influence the supply of the meat are price, production cost, climate, etc. Talking about the price here, as price increases, the firms have an incentive to supply more because they get more revenue from selling the goods. And production cost, talking about the production cost, this factor implies that meat supply will decrease with the increase in the production cost, and vice versa. The supply of the product and production cost are inversely related to each other. For example, a seller will supply less quantity when the production costs exceed the market price. In such situation, seller will wait for the price increase in the future. Talking about the climate here, Australian meat producers operate from almost all areas of Australia, so including North Queensland, the Eastern Seaboard, and in Western Australia. Producers can face a wide range of climatic conditions which can change from year to year. Which can change from year to year, and these climatic conditions can hugely affect the supply of the meat. The initial drought in early 2013 affected 30% of the beef cattle farms in Australia, leading to increased destocking by the farmers, which resulted in an increased supply of cattle in the market. Now for the further topics, I'd like to call Sahil Negi. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratiksha. Hi, I'm Sahil, and I'm gonna discuss about the elasticity of demand, impact of event on meat industry, and the conclusion. So to begin with, the elasticity of demand. The price elasticity of demand for the chicken was recorded to be price inelastic, and that of the beef, lamb, mutton, and pork was recorded to be elastic. The average price elasticity for all the beef, lamb, mutton, etc. are recorded to be more than 1, showing that any change in the quantity demanded of those goods will likely have more as compared to the proportionate changes in price, and that for the chicken are recorded to be less than 1, which means that changes in the quantity demanded will show less proportionate changes as compared to the price. As there is high level of substitutability between all the 5 goods, so the cross price elasticity of demand for them is also positive. There has been an increase in the consumption of pork, chicken, and that of the beef, lamb, and mutton have decreased. When the prices of the beef and lamb in the year of 2011, it was seen that the same were substituted by the chicken and pork in the same year. Impact of event on the meat industry. Okay. The meat industry can be largely impacted by the droughts, where the prices of feed, slaughter, demand for sheep, and restocking of cattle are influenced through it. The availability of cattle can be affected by the poor seasonal condition, where the slaughtering gets increased and the prices of the feed also rise. The meat industry is also affected by the fluctuation in the exchange rates, as the major chunk of the meat and beef is exported to other countries. The meat gets expensive with the increase in the value of the Australian dollar, and the quantity demand for the meat gets reduced. There was a destocking of the Australian cattle in the year 2018-19 due to drought in the Queensland to North South Wales. It was estimated in August 2018 that about 30% inventory of cattle was affected because of drought. The volume of the beef in the world increased in 2018-19 due to high slaughtering in Australia and the US market. The price of the meat in the product were also lower due to extensive competition in the industry, and the competition was also received from the US exports. The demand for the imported lean frozen beef was also reduced due to the increase in the US cow slaughter. Okay. The conclusion. It can be concluded from the above analysis that the demand for the meat in the local market is less than the foreign market. A very large proportion of the beef produced is exported to different countries. The industry has been continuously showing development since it has developed in Australia. Earlier it was limited to the domestic market, but as the consumption of the beef in the local market reduced, export expanded. The price elasticity of demand of the meat in Australia is elastic and is inelastic only for chicken. So it can be said that the meat industry of Australia is very much expanded and needs to be analyzed from time to time to check any changes in the market structure which currently exists on the oligopolistic market structure. Thank you.